I was in a conversation with a dad at my church. And we were in a conversation, and I can tell through this conversation that he was missing his daughter already, who had already gone back onto the college campus. And it's interesting because I was thinking as we were talking, it's probably best that he had some type of parent posse for himself. And so I even recommended that to him. Now, although I'm for emerging mothers and I reach out to moms, and that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about is, just some ideas or some steps or some tips that even now that your son or your daughter is back on the college campus, or they've transitioned, of course, out of your home, then it would be an exciting and even sometimes a necessary idea for those who have yet to have children or teens go off or transition out of the home, for them to even consider creating their parent posse right now. So these are some things to consider if you're thinking about connecting with other moms so that you can have your parent posse prior to your teen leaving and transitioning out of the home. Is first and foremost, it's good for you to know yourself and where you are as it pertains to your thoughts and your emotions, your concerns. So step number one is to, do a brain dump, complete a brain dump, whereas you are putting some thoughts and some tips and some ideas down on paper as it pertains to your emotions and where you are. You may be thinking at this point, when my teen transitions out of the home, are they able to make good social choices while they're on campus or while they're on the military base? Another concern could be, what does that transition day even look like? Am I going to be filled with anxiety? Am I going to be filled with sorrow? Am I going to be just filled with concern? I was contacted by a friend of mine who has a friend, and this past August, the mother actually had an anxiety attack as she was leaving her teen on the college campus. And so, that's what my goal and my role and my hope is to help mothers prior to their teen transitioning out of the home get prepared for that day and to remain prepared prior to that transition day even approaching. As I dwell a little bit more on that first tip to know yourself, you could even be thinking, what, am I having some feelings of loneliness or isolation? But nonetheless, please, step one, know yourself. After you know yourself, then step number two is to identify another emerging mother or a group of emerging mothers. You're able to identify these emerging mothers simply by the conversations that you have with them. You could be at your place of employment, you may be at a PTA meeting, at your teen school. It could be at a sporting event, or you could be on the bleachers at your son or your daughter's AAU tournament, or maybe club ball or something along those lines. You're talking with a mother and you're able to identify just by her conversation that she could be an emerging mother, someone who, of course, has the same feelings, the same thoughts as yourself prior to that transition day. They may have a high school junior, a high school senior, and they're having thoughts of course, that transition day, and maybe they have concerns about this empty nest syndrome. They may have thoughts or concerns regarding how can I parent my teen at a distance. They could be even thinking about, who am I now that my teen will be transitioning out of the home. All of those different thoughts and all of those different um, um, statements that a mother can express could be that they're a mother who could be a part of your parent posse. They can be identified whether they're at your church or at another organization. They could even be in the family, if you will. It could be another, mom who, of course, is having those same types of thoughts. So of course, that is how you can identify if there's someone else that could be a part of the emerging mothers posse for you, if you will. So, but you know what? Let's just take a pause right here, right now. Because if you come in contact with another mother, and that mother You've identified yourself. You know how you're going to be thinking, how you're going to be feeling on that transition day. And hello, appreciate you joining, Karen. Thank you so much for being here. And that other mother is saying, you know what? I cannot wait until my son or my daughter leaves, or I have already moved on with my life. They need to hurry up and leave the home. Then you will know from that conversation that that is a mother who may want to be a part of someone else's parent posse and possibly not yours, because you've already identified your emotions, your thinking, your feeling when your teen transitions out of the home. So this way you're able to, of course, identify that mother who would be appropriate for your parent posse. Okay, so step number one is when you are identifying and trying to build, of course, your community, you're trying to increase your parent posse, then of course you want to, number one, know yourself, know your emotions, know your thinking, so that you can choose the right people for your, of course, parent posse. Then number two, you want to identify people, who they may be in your circle, they may attend your church, they may, of course, you may meet them at a sporting event. They may be a part of the PTA. You may even work with them, or they could be a part of course, another organization. And you'll know by their conversation if they're, of course, appropriate for the parent posse that you're looking to create now that your teen is transitioning out of the home. And then also, thirdly, you want to organize this interconnecting networking group. You want to put together, your policies, your procedures, your rules, your regulations regarding how you want this parent posse that you're creating, how you want it to move and how you want it to shake. Are you looking to socialize with these other mothers, and you all just you're creating space for you all to have a meal on a monthly basis? Are you scheduling maybe bi-monthly Zoom calls? Are you making plans to visit your teens and then coming back and exchanging tips on how you can have more positive interactions with your teens? Are you looking to have great friends out of this group, whereas you all are doing a number of things throughout the year as you're interacting and talking about your team? So you'll want to put together some ideas in reference to how you want this parent posse to look. Listen, there was an article that was written, and it was posted inside of the Insider Higher Ed Special Report. And this report identified that the University of Wisconsin-Madison had surveyed over 700 students who were successful academically. And when they asked them, how is it that you're so successful academically? Then guess what? These teens said that it's because of the financial and the emotional support that I'm receiving from my parent. And so this goes to show that it's important for us to pour into our teens while they're on the college campus, while they're on the military base, and while they're living in their residence independently. Because as we're pouring into them, then of course, to make sure that we remain filled and we're still not drained at all from pouring into them, then guess what? We need to be poured into. And so that's where that parent posse comes into play. I love what King David's son Solomon says in Proverbs 27:17. It says, iron sharpen iron. And so man sharpens the countenance of their friend. And so that goes to show that we need to sharpen one another, and we need to remain connected, so that as we're pouring into one another as mothers, then of course we can pour into our teens. That solidifies that it's so critical for us to remain solidified, for us to not be in silos, for us to not be isolated, but for us to come together as mothers. So listen, this video in addition to other videos is of course what I will place in my Facebook group. I encourage you to seek out and identify and locate Emerging Mothers. Our Facebook group will be, of course, growing as throughout 2021. And so I welcome you to join our group. I will be facilitating, of course, the conversations that will take place on these videos, and then also in Instagram as well. You know, also mark your calendar for February 22nd. There will be a 9-day workshop that will take place where we will be talking about these topics as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back here next Tuesday, 6 p.m., bringing to you other topics, other nuggets that I'm in other conversations with mothers about, and then also what I know could be concerns for mothers who, of course, will have teens transitioning out of the home. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Take care. I love you all much. Enjoy 2021. But again, I'll see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye.